2. All right. Have a good show, Mom.
All right. Thank you very much, Marquise. Welcome, everyone. This is Reset with Reverend Sherry Lupton, and I want to thank you for logging on with us live on Facebook. And today's topic is Wise and the Foolish, preparing for our future. Preparing for the future, to be well prepared for our future. And we will discuss today, prepare our credit, increase our credit score. Why buy insurance, purchasing a home, invest in a multi-family property unit, and securing our future. We're talking about multi-generational wealth, not only your future, but your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren's future. No matter what age you are, you want to leave a legacy. We have a history behind us, and we have a legacy before us. Amen?
Amen.
So, our sponsors that we have today, we have Legal Shield with Kimberly Robertson. We have WLAB Internet Radio 107.3, founder and CEO, Pastor Louis A. Butcher Jr. We have Erica Dennison, Paparazzi Jewelry. And we have Elizabeth Guthridge, EAG Credit Solutions, LLC, helping build their legacy. So when you contact any of our supporters, please support them and tell them that we sent you. Our sponsors will be highlighted at the end of our program. So before we move into the program, because we have a lot of information to share with you this evening, please share on your Facebook with family and friends, watch party. Write your questions and I will make sure that I look at them and address them with our guest. So reset, and I say this every time I come on. Reset, it means to change, to adjust, to transition, to transform, correct to a new position. Whatever you were before, we are correcting to a new position. We are refashioning ourselves. We dare to be unapologetic. We are Christ-centered. We inspire, encourage, and empower. So our scripture today comes out of Luke 6:48-49, and it is so relevant to what we are addressing. They are like a man building a house who dug down deep and laid the foundation on a rock. When a flood came, the torrent struck that house, but could not shake it because it was well built. Well built, meaning it was well prepared. But the one who hears my words and does not put into practice is like a man who built a house on the ground without any foundation. The moment the torrent, which could be a river, it's strong and fast moving, a stream of water or other liquid, struck that house and it collapsed. I want to underscore, it collapsed. It fell down because you were not prepared and its destruction was complete. So this evening, we're talking about the wise and the foolish, preparing for the future, to be well prepared. Because when you're prepared, when I'm prepared, as a community, we are all prepared. So our prayer today is teach us, Lord, to be prepared in this hour, in this moment. We ask of your guidance, your wisdom, and the direction in Jesus' name, amen. So we have with us, amen. So we have with us three phenomenal, can't count, three phenomenal guests this evening: Elizabeth Guthridge, Sharon Thorne, and Tyrone McFadden. Thank you very much. Thank you, each and every one of you. Thank you for being with us on Reset with Reverend Sherry on TCP Network, and we're going to go right into it. As always, I read the, I just want to make sure that my phone is down. I read your bio, not a lot, but just to give our viewers, our listeners, a background of who these people are, because we pick the best of the best. We have a lot of gifted people in our community. And because of Zoom, we could even go outside of our community to connect with other gifted people. So Elizabeth Guthridge is the founder and financial wellness consultant for EAG Credit Solutions, LLC. With over 25 years of HR service, Ms. Guthridge enjoys helping individuals and employees build their legacies by educating them on how to repair and protect their credit. EAG offers financial literacy services, coaching, and financial wellness and workshops. Ms. Guthridge received her undergraduate business degree, business administration from Albright College, and received a master's degree in human resources from Capello University. Ms. Guthridge also holds an SPHR and SHRM SCP certifications. That sounds really deep. Additionally, Ms. Guthridge is the host of a weekly credit Zoom at noon. All right, so we have Liz, and she will give us information on increasing our score and how does that work? What is FICA? What is all that about? So anyway, we have Sharon Denise Thorne. She is a product of PASSHE. What is that? That is the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education, having attended Clarion University, Millersville, and Westchester Universities, respectively, earning a Bachelor's of Science in Sociology and a Master's of Science in Public Administration. Sharon served students at 2 historical Black colleges and universities, HBCU, Lincoln University and Cheyney University of Pennsylvania, through her work as a student affairs professional. After 38 years, she retired from Cheyney University of 2020. So this just happened last year, so she can be with us. Sharon became a licensed insurance professional in 2018. She spends time encouraging families to create intergenerational wealth. Intergenerational wealth. She does community service through her membership of Delta Sigma Theta sorority and the Order of Eastern Stars. And last we have Tyrone McFadden. He is a Lancaster County native who attended Lampeter Strasburg High School. Upon graduation, Tyrone followed his passion for basketball, playing at a collegiate level first at Lycoming College, then finding his home at Clarion University of Pennsylvania. Tyrone graduated from Clarion University in May of 2015. He is the baby among us, but he's going to teach us something. This millennial is going to teach us something, all right? So with the bachelor's in business administration, he moved back to Lancaster City and began his career in business and real estate investing. Tyrone's passion, his passion underscore, he's excited about this. He's excited to share his wealth with us when it comes to real estate, is educating other millennials. And I just told him I'm not a millennial, but I want a young brother on the benefits of multifamily property investing. Tyrone, AKA the Millennial Home Investor, is currently focused on building a real estate educational platform at millennialhomeinvestor.com, where individuals will be able to follow his journey as well as learn the fundamentals of multifamily, single-family real estate investing through educational courses. This is nothing but each one, teach one. Coming from a family that also has this passion. We were just talking to him before we came on, coming from his parents, his mother and father, and also his grandfather. This is intergenerational. Have mercy. Wow. So, coming from a family that also has this passion, it has been a goal of his to own property since a young age. So while others were out there playing, he was a little kid thinking about, I want to own property.
Yeah.
Learn from this millennial, all right? In November 2017, Tyrone invested in his first multifamily property in Lancaster City. And after experiencing the steady growth real estate can bring, he is actively searching for his next deal. You can follow Tyrone's journey on Instagram at Millennial Home Investor for practical real estate investing and wealth building tips, as well as staying informed on his educational real estate investing website launch. So welcome all of you. I am so excited. I am retired. I'm retired. My major was social work. I have a master's in master's of divinity, but I want to learn about generational wealth. I want to learn about the importance of insurance, and I want to learn about securing and increasing and maintaining our credit. So we have, and please get on and ask a lot of questions so we could be interactive. But my first question is going to go to Elizabeth. And Elizabeth, what inspired you to start a credit restoration business?
Okay, so thank you, Sherry, for inviting me on this platform. I truly appreciate it. I love talking about the things that I am doing with credit restoration. And it's not just a business, it is truly a ministry for me. And I always say that I'm out here saving lives. I know with your divinity degree, you're saving souls, but I'm saving lives when it comes to financial literacy. So what inspired me? So there's lots of things that inspired me, but just a few things that kind of led me to where I am today. The first being, I am the oldest of 10 out of 10 siblings. So I've always felt like a leader. I've been pushing people around since I was 3 years old. So being the oldest of 10, I mean, you have that type of authority. So I've always felt the need to share what I know, to teach. And I've always been a nurturer or a leader of some sort. So at a very early age, that was already given to me. And I enjoy helping family and I enjoy helping my community. And one thing my daughter said to me, she said, "Mom, I'll help you any way you need me to help." I said, "That's nice." She said, "You want to know why?" I said, "Why?" She said, "Because if you make it, we'll all make it." I said,
teach one. Yeah.
Okay. So that inspired me. That really, really inspired me. And then what solidified this path for me was 3 years ago, I attended a financial literacy program, 6 weeks, University of Penn, Philly. So every Saturday I would go. It's called Bridge to Wealth. And I learned so much. I learned about mortgage, even though I am a homeowner, but I learned about budget and credit and stocks and bonds and intergenerational wealth. And I was truly overwhelmed and impressed. And I said to myself, "Lord, if I can just take this information to my community, that we could build our foundation for other real estate, other generational wealth items. We could build our generational wealth." And because so much has been taken away from us as a people over the years, and that's another story.
That's another story, yeah.
That's another story. But I was just so impressed with that financial literacy teaching. And so I went out there and I tried to do it. So, but guess what? I found out that our people need a mindset adjustment first.
Yes.
Before they can start on that journey of increasing their credit or whatever journey they need to be on as it relates to financial literacy, they have to change their mindset. We can't pass down Chanel belt buckles. We can't pass down Nike shoes. That's Nike shoes is not going to allow us to purchase a multifamily home. So my job became hard because this is free stuff I'm offering you. But the mindset is what I had to work on. So I'm not really selling credit repair, people. I am selling changing our mindset so we can accumulate generational wealth, not because we some of us might be too late. Maybe not you, Tyrone. For some of us, the best we can do is teach the next generation coming up. And that's why I think my job is so important, because I have a lot of work to do. And I always say, and this is the final inspiration, that you cannot help anybody until you help yourself.
Mm,
And,
like
and
that.
what reminds me, and on a final note, what reminds me, when you're in an airplane and you sit in a certain seat and you look up and there's a little sign that says, "Do not attempt to put the mask on anybody else until you put the mask on yourself first."
Good point. Good point.
Okay, so that's what the scripture is, very appropriate for my business. I might adopt it, Sherry. Very
Hey, it's not
appropriate,
mine. Take it.
because everything is about foundation. So if your
Yes.
foundation is good, then you can help other people. And so that is what inspires me every single day, that I can help one person, just one person, then I've done my job.
Thank you.
That's-
All right,
that's
I'm
what
going to
inspires
go
me.
over to Tyrone. Why is real estate investing a great wealth building vehicle, Tyrone? Educate us.
Yes. So, Sherry, thank you for having me, and thank you for the other guests as well for having me. I mean, we have a great group of panelists here, so I think we're going to be sharing a lot of great information. So yeah, real estate investing, I mean, as Sherry mentioned when we had the introduction, it's something that's kind of been engraved in me since I've grown up. From the age of probably 5 to 7 years old, I remember painting my grandfather's houses and doors. And at the time, I really didn't understand the concepts of owning a home, right? I just seen it as something to do. That's how my Saturdays were spent. But I quickly realized over time that it was one of the greatest ways to build wealth. So the first thing that I love about real estate is exactly what I'm talking about. You can force that appreciation and build that foundation for your family. Multi-generational wealth is, I would say real estate is probably one of the easiest ways.
The easiest ways. Okay. All right.
Number one, because of leverage. So typically, a lot of people don't understand the concept of leverage, but you can take a small amount of money in real estate and typically afford 3 to 3.5 times what your down payment is going to be. And what that allows you to do is wield so much more power, right? But as Elizabeth stated earlier, it's a mindset shift. You have to switch from being a renter to being an owner. Okay. So, I know we said I was going to be speaking about millennials because we don't get that concept. A lot of my friends and a lot of my family still to this day, they're still renters. But what you have to understand is there's a game being played with it. Okay. And for so many years, we've kind of been on the wrong side of the tracks with the game. Right. So what you want to do is by switching that mindset over to that ownership mindset, it allows you to control an asset that's going to go up in value. So I want to talk about a few different concepts here. So the first one I want to talk about is real asset, right? So compared to a stock is a bunch of digits, a bunch of numbers where you own a percentage of interest in a company, right? But you're not in the boardroom with these companies. You're not making decisions on if they're going to drop that price of that stock or if that company is going to go up in value. So again, you're in a reactive state. Okay. But with real estate, what real estate allows you to do is it creates it's not home ownership. You own something. You own 100% of that. Right? So it's a real asset. You can see it, you can smell it, you can feel it, you can touch it. Right? God's not creating any more land. What's there is what's there. Okay. So it's unique to you. Right? There's nothing else like it. You own the rights underneath. You own the rights above. They can't build higher than that unless they get your permission. Okay, not on your property, not on your plot. So that's the number one. That's the first reason. The first reason is going to be that's a real asset that is tangible, that you can go out and touch it. Right. The second thing I want to talk about is appreciation. So typically over the course of 30 years, when you purchase a home, what's going to end up happening is it's going to go up in value, right? It's going to appreciate. Why? Because of the first topic we just talked about, it being a real tangible asset. So with that being said, it's so unique and there's nothing like it in your neighborhood. It's going to go up. So appreciation, for example, say you bought your home for $100,000, right? In 5 years, it's worth $130,000, right? That $30,000 is going to lead me to my next point, which is equity. So now you just created equity in your home. So that equity now you can take that out in the form of a home equity line of credit. Okay, so just right there on those three different concepts, these are just some of the more basic and simple ways that you can definitely build wealth from real estate and using real estate as a strategy. But I want to say that the ultimate reason is the idea of capital gains. And from an investor, I just want to explain that to you guys. So when you purchase a property, it goes up in value and it appreciates. And you have equity in it and you sell that house, right? You have to pay a fee. It's just like, paying taxes, right? So there's capital gains tax, right? That's not all your money. You profit 50,000, it's not all profit, right? There's realtor fees, there's transfer and title fees, there's local tax and state fees on that as well. But from an investor, people need to understand that there's a way for you to protect those gains from that sale that you worked so hard to create, okay? And they have something called a 1031 exchange. And what that does is it allows you to defer paying those taxes on that profit and being able to roll those in to another investment. So it's a snowball effect.
Wow.
And I just want people to understand, that can be a show in itself. But the biggest thing I want to lead people with into why real estate is the best way to build generational wealth, because it's like a snowball, right? You remember when you were a kid and you took that snowball and you formed it up and got it nice and compact, and then you pushed it down the hill, right? What's that snowball going to do? Right? It's going to pick up speed. It's going to move faster and faster, and it's going to get bigger and bigger. Actually, what you created was a nest egg for you and your family, right?
Wow.
You can now get your kids to go to college, right? You can now make those improvements you always wanted to on your house. You can help that loved one in need, right? All just through leveraging and having those necessary sacrifices up front for that long-term financial gain.
Thank you. That is some good information. Leverage. Yes. Generational wealth. The other thing is that we have Sharon here, and Sharon's going to share with us because when we improve our credit and we go out to purchase a home or a multifamily unit, also we need to be aware, because we want to be secure, is at what age should people have or purchase life insurance, Sharon?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, because the box wasn't lighting up. Again, thank you, Sherry, for giving us this opportunity. Let me share with you, it is never too early for anyone to have life insurance coverage. When your baby is born, you can put your child on what we call a child rider with you on your insurance policy and have that child covered. Also, once you turn 18, then you can get on your own policy. So age, no certain age is not too early and not necessarily too late, but that's, again, could be a whole nother show talking about, that. But let me say, it's not too early. One of the things I really try to impress upon people is, sadly, we know our birth date. So we know what's on the right side of the dash, but the left side of the dash, but we don't know what's on the right side of the dash. You know, earlier this week, we acknowledged the loss again of Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
Certainly none of us expected that on January 26, 2020, we would lose Kobe Bryant.
Exactly.
But Kobe was what we call self-insured because, of course, he had a great deal of money. Many of us certainly don't have the money that Kobe has. So we need to be insured through probably a company. And this is why. The reason is we love our family. We want to take care of our family. And in order to do that, we may need to have some help because we don't have the money that Kobe had sitting in the bank. Stop right now and think about if your family lost the income that you provide, what would they do? How would you feel? If your children had to switch schools, if they had to move in with someone else, if they couldn't get new shoes, if they had to share a bedroom, all of these things are possibilities if you meet an untimely death and you don't have an insurance policy. And the other thing is we realize, unfortunately, we see it all around our cities that people are dying at every age.
Yes.
And so then it's not a situation where there is an age that is too young and an age that's necessarily too old to get life insurance. So any age you can get and should get life insurance.
So you were just talking about sudden death, and there's not an age that we all should have life insurance. Many times we see on social media is the GoFundMe. When an untimely death occurs.
Yes. Yes.
So,
the GoFundMe, the fish fry, the pasta cup, and Sherry, those things don't have to happen because I'm telling you, we really can do this. As you heard some of the other speakers say, it's a mindset. We have to get our priorities straight. As you heard Liz say, people buy Gucci, people buy Prada, they got the, Michael Kors and all of the different Coach bags and all those kind of things. If you can buy all of those things, you can buy an insurance policy. So it's a matter of mindset. We have to encourage us in our community to change our mindset and read. That's the other thing that I've noticed, that people who have insurance policies don't know what they have. They don't know if they have a term. They don't know if they have a whole. They don't know what it's going to do because.
Could you explain that difference of a term and a whole, Sharon?
Well, a term policy is what they call a short-term policy, because it has a term, just as you hear. It has a certain period length of time, whereas they say that whole life is a permanent kind of insurance, because one policy will take you to the age of 99 or 100 and you never have to renew it. But with term policies, you can renew them. And the other differences, and there are quite a few differences really between the two, and people have to kind of really do their homework so that they can know which one fits them and their families better. Again, a term in some cases could be short. Whole normally lasts longer, but whole life insurance is sometimes 2-3 times the amount of whole life. So you're going to get more term for the same amount of money you would pay for a whole, And again, there's so many things you could do with it. Some people will get whole and then hold on to it for life and keep paying. Some people will get term, and at the same time you have that term policy, you do investments, and your investments are compounding the interest so that you are growing your wealth. And so some people, while they're scared of term because of the length, they run away from it. But if you invest at the same time that you hold your term policy, you can actually accumulate enough wealth that you don't even need a policy, whether it be whole or term. And really, because you're going to get both the investment monies and your term policy, it's really better, you know, for some people to do that. But some people like the security of whole life. And, you know, you often hear people say, oh, I can borrow against my policy. Well, yes, you can, but make sure you read all of the pieces that go with borrowing from a whole life policy.
Wow, thank you. Okay, we are listening to Reset with Reverend Sherry on TCP Network, Facebook Live, The Wise and the Foolish, Ministry Matters. Why do we need to know all this information? Because we need to be prepared. We need to provide for the next generation and the next generation before we leave this earth. We don't know when that's going to happen. Only God above knows the hairs and when we're going to leave this earth. But I wanted to ask you, Tyrone, what can an individual do today? What can we do today to get started on a path to owning a single family or a multi-family home? If I would set up the scenario, I would look at it that let's start off, I'm a single parent and I have a couple children. I do have a good full-time job, but I have been renting for years. And now after hearing this discussion on Reset, I want to know, Tyrone, what can I do to get started on a path of purchasing a home?
Yep. So I think the first thing that someone should do is perform a self-audit on your personal finances. So what do I mean by that? So you have to first understand what your wants are versus what your needs are, right? So this goes back to Liz earlier, right? Buying unnecessary items. And I think a lot of people get stuck on the paycheck to paycheck schedule. And you start realizing that you're spending your money before you even receive your check.
Get it. Yep.
Okay. So I think the biggest thing and the first thing someone should do is learn and figure out ways to automate your finances by paying yourself first.
Pay yourself first.
Yep.
What do you mean by that?
Yep. So paying yourself first. So figuring out what your necessities are. So how much is your food? How much is your gas, right? What's your rent look like currently? And only by doing those things, you'll know how much money you have left over, okay? So when you're paying yourself first, you're taking that amount of money that's left over and you're putting it into a sacred account. By sacred, I mean an account you don't see. If you don't see it, you're not going to spend it and you're not going to touch it. So figuring out ways to automate your finances. Someone once told me, don't trust yourself, right? Don't trust that you're going to do the right things with your money, right? Make it easy for yourself and store away the money that you would obviously spend going out to a club or hanging out with some friends or, you know, eating out 5 to 7 times a week, right? And you'll quickly realize over the course of a year, you know, how much $100 and $200 here and there can add up to a down payment, right? So that's the first thing that I would say is perform a self-audit on your personal finances. Right?
Okay.
Yep.
We have a question here. What is the smallest down payment you need now to buy your own home?
Yep, that's a great question. So obviously that depends. You know, you can purchase a home. It's going to be based off of your credit score, what your financial situation looks like. All right, typically on a conventional loan, you're going to need 20% down, right? But if you're a first-time home buyer, you can get in as low as 3.5% down. So what's that? $3,500 on $100,000, right? Every $100,000, you need $3,500 down. And that's just information that's not given to people. You know, you can buy, there's so many houses. I mean, now the market's a little crazy, but $3,500 down. I mean, if you tell someone, can you save 3,500? Well, they can scrape that up over the course of a year, right? So I think that's the first thing is checking into and looking into and doing that personal audit on your personal finances, and then figuring out ways that you can save that money. You'll come up with the 3,500 to answer that person's question. But the second thing is paying down outstanding debts. That's the most important. So what do I mean by that? Lingering debts, stuff that's sitting around, credit card payments, those are the worst. You know, chipping away at it. You know, if you're in a hole, chip away at it. By doing the self-audit, you'll figure out how much money you can put towards that credit card payment, right? If you're behind on some bills, figure out which bills are affecting your credit score the worst, right? Visiting lists, you know? So there's definitely opportunities in the community, but you have to want to change, right? So that would be the second thing I would say is taking a look into your personal finances. Next would be putting the money into a sacred account. So I can't stress that enough. That is the whole process of just setting up an additional savings account at your bank, or going into your company and saying, hey, I want to allocate $100. I mean, I don't care if it's $25. I want to put $25. I don't want to see it. Put it right into my savings account. Okay, because this is going to be your nest egg to start to build your financial future, to start to build that 3.5% down payment. Okay, so start small, right? Take baby steps, because real estate is a slow game. You're not, unless you're flipping, 10, 20, 30 houses, meaning buying them and reselling them within 3 months of a time period, it's a slow game. So typically you're going to, as a homeowner, you don't even have to, I'm not talking as an investor, as a homeowner, when you purchase your home, it's going to go up in value. It's not like the stock market. Most people are going to own their home for 30 years, right? A stock is volatile, goes up and down. But home ownership, yeah, some years you have some bad years, but it's going to increase in value over the long haul.
Thank you. So Liz, going back to you, what does one need to know about credit, and why is it necessary to have a good credit score?
Okay, so there are some basic things that we need to know about credit. And so I'd like to keep talking about the mindset. So there's people out there to say, I pay for everything in cash. Okay, that's fine if you are Jay-Z or somebody like that. But for the rest of us, we have to use credit to leverage. And all credit is an adult report card. And what it does is measure the risk if somebody is offering you a loan. So it measures the responsibility, the likelihood that you'll pay back what you're asking to borrow. But we already know that credit has a range from 300 being the poorest to 850 to being exceptional or excellent. But I try to tell my clients, shoot for a 740, because a 740 is very good. And so once you start at 740, then your interest rates will be more favorable. So that's what I always tell my client. Now, some things they need to know, just a couple things they need to know. They need to know how their score is calculated, because sometimes, because Tyrone mentioned it a little bit, sometimes you want to make a decision. I may want to use my Boscov's card. Okay, it's going to go over, but I know that my credit score is a snapshot, so don't freak out. Don't freak out. But if you're looking to buy a home or make an investment, you try not to touch it. Try not to touch it too much. So let me just quickly go over the 5 factors. 35% of your score is paying your bills on time. 30% is the use of credit. And what Tyrone said about that credit card, if you're, for example, if you have $1,000 credit limit, try not to go over 30%. Because if you spend more than 30%, $300, then your score is going to tank. And you can really not try to purchase that house in the next 6 months because it's going to take you a little time to rebuild your score. Again, it's a snapshot. You got to make decisions based on what your end goal is. So you always have to make decisions based on the end goal. What's the end goal? Okay. And if buying a house is that, then you have to be really, really mindful of these factors. 15% of your credit score is calculated the length of time. 10% is the mix of credit. Creditors like to see there's a mix of credit. Do you have a student loans or car loan or personal loan? And if you handle all of that, then guess what? That gives you leverage. So you got good credit, you got a home with equity in it, leverage. Now you can buy bigger, invest in generational wealth. Pass it. Starts with credit. So, and then the last thing is credit inquiries. So be careful about allowing people to look in your credit because you can look at it, but every time someone else looks in it, it's called a hard pull. And when they do that, it can decrease 3 to 5%. The bottom line is when the creditors see that, again, if you're trying to buy that house, and the creditors see every other month you're asking them to pull credit, they're not going to trust you. Then they're going to think that you're being desperate. So just understand those factors. And Sherry, there's a few more things that I think most people don't know about. It's not just a regular credit score. There are credit scores for insurance. There's credit scores for auto. There's credit scores, it's called a hiring risk index. So there's certain jobs that you apply and they will run your credit. And the first time I did that as an HR professional, I said, why would I do this? They're looking for late payments. They're looking for in case you stole money, or all of those things that you have public accounts that you haven't paid. So then that's a trust factor. Again, the credit is an adult report card. Now you got a creditor all in your business. And now not only won't they trust you, most likely you won't get the job. And if you get a job, you may or may not get a job that's not the best paying job because they have a right to judge you based on your adult report card. So that's why it's important to understand what credit is, the things that you're allowed to do. Don't be afraid to use credit, but use it wisely because everything from home ownership to insurance to getting a job depends on a good credit score.
Elizabeth, your show, you have a show every on
Friday.
Zoom, every Friday at 12 o'clock. You talked about FICA. What is that?
Okay, so FICA is a model in which they will they have this algorithm and those factors that I talked about. So there's a Vantage score, which Credit Karma use. There's FICO 8, there's FICO 9, there's all these different, I won't go into the minute details, but all that is the number. And so the FICO score, my FICO score is the same exact score as Experian because there's 3 major credit agencies. And depending on if you live in Atlanta, you live in Texas, and our score most likely is TransUnion because we're here in the Northeast. So FICA is just a credit score model, and there's many models. As a matter of fact, there's a new model that we got to be very careful because the new model is considering your bounce checks. So just a lot of stuff is going on with the credit. So Sister Sharon talked about reading, real important. Read. Financial literacy, we must read. But so that's what the FICO score is, Sherry. It's each model is different. The algorithm, nobody really knows how they calculate it, but we do know those 5 factors in every model, whether it's FICO 8, FICO 10, the Vantage score, no matter what model it is, they all use those 5 factors.
Mm-hmm. I would suggest that you get in touch with Elizabeth. She has this show on Zoom about credit. It's less than a half an hour, but you get good nuggets, really good nuggets. Some of the information you could know, and other things you're just learning, and you could always pass that on to people in your family or friends. So knowledge is very powerful. All right, so Sharon, what is the importance of financial planning for retirement?
Well, one of the main reasons to do financial planning as you are getting ready to retire, and certainly a good time before, is because you want to retire in comfort. Your bills aren't going to go away. You're still going to have to pay your bills, and you really don't want to wholly depend on SSI. You don't want to depend on Social Security, because in a lot of cases it's not going to be the number that you were receiving in your bank accounts each time you got paid, which means you're looking at a much smaller pocketbook. So you definitely want, and the other reason, in addition to just being comfortable and the fact that you need to be able to pay your bills, you want to remain retired. Most people, ladies and gentlemen, have less than $25,000 saved or invested for retirement. Now stop and think about your monthly bills times 12. Well, for a lot of people, in 1 year or less, that $25,000 is going to be gone, which means they may retire 1 year and have to go back to work the next year. That's why in some cases, some people are in stores and serving because they want to, and they want to get out the house. But a lot of times we see seniors still working in their late 60s and 70s and beyond, because they need to pay their bills. And so we need to plan, invest, as you heard Tyrone say, put your money away, pay yourself first each time you get paid. And one of the things that he said that's really, really important is put it where you can't get it.
Yeah, I like that, and I want to underscore that we are in January, actually January 28th. So I want to underscore that we all take a challenge, and that we pay ourselves first. Open up another account at your bank, or go to another bank, and let's begin to pay ourselves first. Let's take that challenge on. So I don't see any other questions. I see a lot of comments here. Go ahead.
Okay. So, but I want to go back to what we've all been saying. So Tyrone, a lot of my talks always start off with the budget. You said an audit, but it's still a budget. So that is so, so important. And I always give an example that I have a client that drinks Starbucks, and it's $6 for her fancy cup of coffee, and she does it 3 times a day. So that's $18 times 7 times 360. Let's say 5 days she doesn't drink. So that's like hundreds of dollars. And when she saw that, she went out and bought a coffee maker. And that money, but that was hundreds of dollars. And that was the exercise that I could give my clients. Do a budget. And if you don't know where to start, go back to your banking statement, because we all got that card. We swipe. So we do have a trail. Right. Go back to your bank. Some do paper, and put all of those monies in categories, and you will say, oh my God, I spent $12,000 of eating out last year. You're going to see some stuff that you're not going to appreciate you for. And that's the first thing. No matter what we're all doing, whether it's Sharon, Tyrone, and credit, the first thing is to put your bills in order. Pay yourself. And I do a couple things. I do automation as much as I can, because when I don't do automation, I might forget. I could be having a bad day and forget it's the 15th of the month. So I just want to reiterate how important the budget is. And once you pay yourself, your family, and you got to protect your credit. You can't, family members, I want to sign for a card, but you didn't pay your other bills. Why would I sign it? So protect your credit. Don't be ashamed to say no. Don't be ashamed.
Yeah.
So protect your credit, teach your kids about credit, and start off with that budget. That's mine.
All right, 2021, the wise and the foolish, preparing for the future to be well prepared. I want to thank all my guests, and I'm at the end of the show. All of you, please give your contact so people could get in contact with you. And I'm also going to give you a last word. If there's something that we didn't cover or a question that we didn't cover, please go right there. I want to recognize our sponsors for Reset with Reverend Sherry. We have Legal Shield with Kimberly Robinson, and it is an unlimited consultation to get advice from an attorney on unlimited number of personal and legal topics. Legal Shield, letters and phone calls. Your attorney can make calls and write letters for you on behalf to resolve any disagreements or recover fees that you would have. Also, document review for contracts and personal legal documents. Also, estate planning. And one day we will be there with estate planning. Yes. Traffic, speeding tickets, crashes, lost driver's license, how to restore that. Your attorney with Legal Shield will be able to help you avoid getting points from your record. Medical directive, they are available 24/7, and they will call you within 4 hours. Preferred member discount, also member perks, and ID Shield, which they protect you and your entire family from identity theft alone. Also, credit bureau monitoring with exactly what we were talking about. Your membership dashboard includes a monthly credit score tracker as well as a yearly credit score report to help you keep on top of your credit rating. They also address Social Security number, dark web monitoring, and other things. This is from Kimberly. She says, we can all agree that everyone deserves equal justice in this country, and that she has made it her personal mission to share these services and this opportunity with as many people as possible. And because I don't want to read about another hashtag or hear about how families are struggling financially, people are tired of living from paycheck to paycheck. We all want time and financial freedom, exactly what we're talking about today. So contact her today and get set up with Legal Shield. You can reach her at KimberlyRobinson.wearelegalshield.com. Kimberly Robinson 12384 @gmail.com. Kimberly Robinson 12384 @gmail.com. We thank her for that. We also have WLAB 107.3 Gospel Radio. This was launched in October of 2019 by Reverend Dr. Lewis A. Butcher Jr., retired pastor from Brightside Baptist Church. WLAB broadcasts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The website for this station is WLAB107.com and their Facebook. Please go on there. The intention of this station is to provide a variety of music, including traditional and contemporary gospel, quartet gospel, jazz, and hymns. I am also on WLAB. We Logos Masterclass. There's 4 of us, and we preach the word throughout the month. So why don't you get on there, and you'll hear Minister Tina Latson, Reverend Marissa White, and Reverend Stallings. We are on WLAB on Tuesday at 3 p.m., Wednesday at 4 p.m., and Saturday at 3 p.m. You can get a good word and listen to some good gospel. We also have Erica Dennison Mack. Paparazzi accessories are always fabulous, always fashionable, and always $5. And so that's something that even when you give yourself money, you're not going to go broke with buying jewelry for $5.
Right.
So with new
Yep.
styles and added, do you like that, Rataj? You like that?
Yeah,
Todd?
that's good. I like it.
Added daily, you can shop anytime and look like a million without breaking the bank. Find that perfect pop of color, fall in love with the new statement piece, or step out of your comfort zone and try one of the hottest trends of the season. Everything is nickel and lead free. Not only does she sell beautiful jewelry to earn extra income in her home, but she also, this is a way of telling her story. Erica tells her story. She also uses the time to sell jewelry, but encourage women in the Lord. So Erica could be reached at www.livelaughshineaccessories.com. www.livelaughshineaccessories.com. I like those. How people put their a spin on that of their own background, because she wants you to live and she wants you to laugh and shine and have fun with the jewelry that she sells. Her email is livelaughshine116@gmail.com. We also have Elizabeth here that's talking, that's one of our guests. Elizabeth Guthridge is the founder and financial wellness consultant of EAG Credit Solution, which you heard today. She wants to help men and women manifest their legacies by exposing them to financial literacy, using credit restoration as a starting point. We maximize your credit score by removing any inaccurate, erroneous, obsolete information in your credit file, including collections and judgments, repossessions, medical bills, late payments. She can help repair this for you. She works with individuals, couples, families, realtors, bankers, and car dealership, and more. And if you are about to get married, I also suggest that you go to her too, to take care of all this before getting married. Our services include budgeting, building, and repairing credit, and a will, a trust, power of attorney, identity, and credit monitoring. We even have credit attorney to handle legal issues. Please contact her at 717-715-3979 or email her at Liz, L-I-Z, at eagcreditsolutions.com for a free 15-minute consultation. And take her up on that free 15-minute consultation. Yeah, chuck that up as something free that you could do. Put aside 15 minutes in your schedule. So next month, on Reset with Reverend Sherry, next month, February 11th, we have Marriage Matters. We're going to talk about marriage. For those that are married, for those that are planning on getting married, we have about 5 couples, and what does it take of being married? February 18th is Her Voice, a conversation with Dr. Kim Walker. We're going to discuss systemic racism in the healthcare field. And we heard a lot about that with the COVID-19 and the vaccine not coming to our communities, and how it's disproportionately killing people or putting us in hospitals for months at a time, people of color. So we're going to address that. And February 25th, I didn't forget about your singles. Singles matter. Being Christian and being single. All right, so we try here on Reset to address as many issues as possible, and we thank you for joining us. And I'm going to give the last word with Elizabeth, Sharon, and Tyrone.
Okay, so these are my last words. First of all, read everything you can get your hands on. Make a decision about your priorities, and don't be afraid to start where you are. Develop a reasonable budget, live within your means, be diligent, determined, and laser focused about building or repairing your credit. Strive to maintain a score of 740 or higher. Then move on to learn more about financial literacy to build your family's legacy. Those are my nuggets.
All right. Sharon.
Again, I'd like to thank Reverend Sherry for giving me this opportunity And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give you the opportunity to talk with me. I encourage everyone to build intergenerational wealth through getting you a life insurance policy and doing investments. This is the best way for you to make sure that you are taking care of your family. You love them, take care of them. You don't want to see your family doing fish fries, GoFundMe, pass the cup. We can eliminate all of those situations. Do that with me. Call me at 484-802-4278. You can write me at STHORN127@gmail.com. And let me remind you, we know what is on the left side of that dash, but ladies and gentlemen, it's urgent because we don't know what's going to be on the right side.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. All right, Tyrone.
Yeah. Thank you, Reverend Sherry, and thank you to the other guests as well. I want to just leave everybody with the piece that, take action. None of this matters if we don't all take that first step and take action. Right? We all have a certain potential that we can live up to. And just as Liz said, read, pick up a book, open it up, take notes. If you take one piece of information from that and you compound that over several different ideas and concepts, you're going to be a lot further along. So I just challenge everyone, when we close here tonight, tomorrow, wake up and do something about it. Get frustrated about your situation, right? Don't act like everything is okay. So I just challenge everyone to change. This is the year of change. So that's what I'm going to leave everybody with.
I like that. And there was a, thank you all so much, but there was someone that made a comment about the importance of home ownership that needs to plan to maintain the property. So the same way that you discipline yourself to save money for the home is going to be the same way you're going to continue that discipline and put money aside for those rainy days to maintain your property. And once you are disciplined, maintain that discipline throughout the rest of your life. That's what I would say. So
yes.
That's from me. So anyway, I will be in touch with all of you because Tyrone, I'm taking your class. There are people, Tyrone, that I want to introduce you to. These millennials that Elizabeth know that are in Baltimore, Maryland, just to connect all of you together. And in the future, I'm going to be interviewing a young lady from Philadelphia, the Millionaires Club.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
There you go.
We want to be secure. We want to be prepared. All right. So
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you very much. God bless all of you, and I will be in touch.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Peace.
Thank you, everyone, for being on Reset. God bless.
God bless.